What's up, everyone? It is Denise Salcedo. Welcome back to the UpNext Fighting YouTube channel. With me right now is Drake Flores. Drake, it is so nice to have you out here. I know that you recently made your debut with UNF at Club UNF, and you got yourself a victory, man, on the first day. Now, before I get into that, I do have something to say to you. I'm hearing rumblings that you might be getting Fight of the Night for that.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah.
To hear. That's awesome to hear. Yeah, it was honestly a great debut. UNF was an amazing promotion. They're professional from top to bottom, to everybody from the interviewers to the photographers. It's just a great promotion. I'm really excited to be fighting for you guys. The debut was awesome. The vibes in there were absolutely immaculate. The club was popping in there, so it was a good time. Yeah, I'm glad I got Fight of the Night because that's really what I want. I want to bring a show. I want people to be excited to come watch me fight, so I'm excited to get back in there.
So tell us about the fight. How did it go? How'd you feel in there? Just walk us through everything.
I felt good. You know, it's been a while since I fought recently, so I want to stay more active, as active as possible as I can. So it was a good fight. He brought more of a fight than I thought he would. No disrespect on him, but he was willing to dance, and it was cool. So I'm glad we got Fight of the Night for it.
So how long had it been before your fight that you had at Club UNF? How long had it been? Since you mentioned it had been a second.
I believe in March, and I only had one fight before that this year. So usually I'm a lot more active than that. Like 21, I believe I had 4 fights in that year. So, you know, it's better to keep the ball rolling. Everybody that does this sport knows that consistency is king. So I'm just going to try to keep them rolling, keep going. And yeah, the next card, just keep me going, keep me going.
So what was going on? Why weren't you having as many fights?
I was just making a lot of transitions. I was at a different gym before. I just got hooked up with Chad George and CMMA and all the guys over there. So they really brought me in. They're very welcoming, very genuine people. They're helping me out, really evolving my game. So I was really just cooking in the lab, man, cooking in the lab. And now I'm ready to go lay it out.
Hell yeah, that's freaking awesome. All right, so also the other thing that I wanted to talk to you about, because Club UNF is fairly new. There's only been a handful of shows so far. What was the experience like for you in terms of like the atmosphere? Because it is a club. Obviously, it's Club UNF, and we're at a nightclub. How did you like the atmosphere? Were your friends and family there? What was that like?
Yeah, my dad and uncle were there supporting. I had a few friends also come out. A lot of pay-per-view buys because just because I live pretty far from the venue, but it was awesome. I mean, I highly recommend it. Club UNF was super amazing. I've been to a few venues. I've been to some venues that are not so nice, some nice ones, but this had to be like one of the top venues. I mean, the ambiance, the lights, everything that was set up, the DJs, the bartenders, everybody in there was young, beautiful looking people. Like it was just an awesome time, and I would love to do it again.
That's really cool, man. All right, so Drake, I do want to go ahead and rewind a little bit and get into your start, your journey into mixed martial arts. What is it that drove your passion to pursuing this career, given that it's a violent sport?
So I was always a huge fan of boxing. That's originally how I got into fighting. I was always interested in fighting, and I always watch it with my dad growing up since I was a little kid, and I just wasn't able to really get into it until I got older. So as soon as I was able to get a little bit of freedom and get into a gym, I started training MMA and instantly fell in love with it. I tell people it's like a drug. You do it one time and you're going to keep coming back. So,
what was your first fight like? Well, do you still remember how you fell and what ended up happening?
It's actually interesting because I tell people this all the time. Your first fight is probably your easiest fight because you've never been in a fight. You don't know anything that's going on. You're just like, oh, I'm the man. I've trained before. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to get it done. So you go in there with this utmost confidence because you have no idea what you're getting into. And then until you get into that first round and you're like, wow, this is what fighting really is like. So I think it gets more real the later on you fight and the more fights you get. It gets easier in some ways, and in some ways it's not because you know actually what you're getting into. So it was really cool to debut and experience that, and I think I'll never get that back. That feeling of the unknown and just going in and trying to take someone out as fast as you can.
So who's your biggest inspiration, or what's your biggest motivator?
My biggest inspiration would be, honestly, my parents, my dad and my mom. They work very hard ever since I was young to support me and push me in everything I've ever done. And there's times where it's not easy. You know, this sport, I know everybody can act tough guy, but there's times where all of us are thinking about why we're doing it or why we're here. And you wake up every day and, you know, you're not making tons of money all the time. So it's not an easy thing to do, but when you have a good support system behind you, it really helps you push through those days. And then you have days like this where you're having a real good time. So.
Yeah, I was going to say shout out to Dad who's over there watching behind the scenes. A really great energy, so I can definitely see why your dad, why your mom, why your family is your inspiration. My last question for you is, what's the end goal? What's the dream? And the next, what would you like to see yourself in the next 5 years?
The next 5 years, the dream is always the UFC, of course. I want to be the cream of the crop, top of the game. So I'm not really solely focused on that. That is the end goal, but I'm really just enjoying the journey. I mean, going through UNF, I want to go pro with this promotion because, like I said, it's an amazing promotion. So I'm just really looking forward to the whole path. Where I'm at right now, going to the pros to get me there, I'm just going to enjoy the whole way because at the end of the day, like, we all got one life and I'm only going to enjoy this one time. So I'm really just soaking it all in and, yeah, just enjoying every second of it until I get there. So.
Well, definitely do that. Soak it in. Enjoy the moments. I want to thank you so much, Drake, for chatting with us here today. And thank you to everybody watching. We'll catch you on the next one.